No, I am. Hello, everyone. Today, we have Steve from BodyAlign. Steve, how are you?
I'm doing fantastic tonight. Thank you. Beautiful cold Sunday here I'm in Raleigh, North Carolina tonight. So
Oh, okay. I was about to
I'll be
say
here
it's
for a
cold
couple
in
more days
Virginia.
and then back up to Virginia Beach.
Nice. So we can just wait for a couple people to show up, but let's see. There's a slight lag on YouTube from StreamYard. So, we've got one person so far. Okay, we're good.
Good deal.
So everyone, this is Steve. He creates these amazing products. You might have seen him on Ava's channel, Queen Midas Life Alchemist. But I wanted to have him on today because he's going to share some of his knowledge about all things, how to protect yourself, and all that jazz. So I would love to know how you got started in this. Like, what's your origin story?
Cool. I'll go into that. Just make sure anybody that's listening, if they have a comment or a question, to get it to you so you can pipe in and interrupt me at any time. I love Q&A ideas because I don't want to distract folks with what I want to talk about. I'd rather give people the opportunity to hear from me. So I'm a 61-year-old. I'm born December 20th, 1961. So my birthday's right around the corner. So it's been a good run for me, a good 61 years. But, I left college as a mechanical engineer, but I studied material science. And I ended up at a company down in Dallas, Houston, Texas, then Dallas, called Texas Instruments. And there I spent most of my career designing computer chips for cell phones. Okay. Back in the day, there's Nokia phones and there's other brands. Motorola had a brand that we don't see much of today. It's Samsung, Apple, and maybe Google now. I think you'll find are the biggest players out there. But I started out when it was 1G. And then 2G. I left about 3G, and now we're 4 massively rolled out, 5 becoming massively rolled out. 6 has already got towers put up and ready to go. 7 and 8 are in the spec range. So my fellow engineers that I left at TI in 2002 when I retired are working on 6G and 7G technology that will be ready to be in cell phones before we know it. But let me talk about what we did and how we did it. In 1G and 2G, we actually use the human body as a part of the antenna system. So we could tune the antenna to use the iron that's in the body throughout all our blood, right? Use that as a part of the system. And we could tune it to the frequencies of the body. So when EMF energy is coming from cell towers or vibrating, we could pick up on that in the biological range and not just in the physical electromotive range. So we use that in the old days when we had pagers. Motorola taught the world how to use the human body as a part of the antenna system. So, in the old days in 1G, you could hold your arm up and twist. Oh, I got you now. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? And you're using your body as a part of your communication system. With 3G, 4G now, and 5G, it's a little less because there's so much energy hitting us that they don't need to tune your body to a part of that. They still do because it's cheap and it's easy to do. We can do it right inside the electronics, but we're not as dependent on as we used to be. Okay, back in the 2G, 3G days. And today we really focus at the amount of energy leaving the top of a cell tower, getting to the cell phone, and then vice versa. So in my day, think about a 60-watt light bulb sitting on a top of a cell tower. You could see it off in the distance, right? And that wasn't very hard. Okay. Yeah. Today, to give you the throughput that we're talking about, imagine a 250-watt light bulb sitting on top of there. We've had to use 4 or 5 times more power at that cell tower, just bombarding us with all these electromotive energies. We call them EMS, electromotive forces, or electromechanical forces or frequencies. It's all the same terminology for what's happening in the energetic spectrum. In the electrical spectrum, hitting our bodies, vibrating the iron that's in us and creating some biological impact. Wow. So I spent 20 years doing that kind of work. I consider myself an expert when it comes to what's happening in that spectrum, in the electrical spectrum. I have a business today where I visit cell towers throughout the Raleigh-Durham area. They put me in a bucket truck, and I go up there and I have my trimeters, and I'm measuring the frequencies coming off. I call it interrogation. I open the boxes, see what model, what make, what manufacturer is putting these technologies in place. Like, I don't like to see Hyundai, right? That's a no-no for me. I don't like to see that technology. And Trump actually worked to get Hyundai and some others banned from being able to provide those boxes. I love Broadcom, and I love a couple of the other more North American players that are out there, I think, that have a better control of what they're trying to do when it comes to minimizing impacts to our body and maximizing the amount of enjoyment we can get by using our cell phone. So I go up, interrogate them. I've been at the top of probably 350 cell towers now. Okay. Interrogating was a part of my investigation at BodyAlign. I want to be smart. I want to know what's going on and what our communication companies doing to us. I think it's important that we keep track of that, both watching them, make sure they don't hurt us, and at the same time, understanding what's going to happen in the biology of the human body.
Yeah.
So it's been a fun run.
Yeah, it sounds like it. I mean, it's one of those things that I never knew was out there until recently. I started to hear about like 5G protection and whatnot, 4G protection, I guess, probably when that happened. But I was kind of skeptical, and I didn't understand the science behind it at all, because in that aspect, I wasn't awake. I was like, what are you talking about? Like, these stickers protect you? Like, how in the world does that work? So maybe you can explain.
I'd love to jump into that. So
yeah,
let me talk about the evolution and why today is worse than it was 10, 20 years ago when I was developing the chips. So we have a trade-off between the frequency and the distance that it can travel and a fixed amount of energy. So I have 1 watt of energy. I have a slow signal. It can go very far. If I have 1 watt of energy and have a fast energy, I can't go very far. So the 1G, 2G days was very slow energy. And what we found is that energy goes pretty deep into the body. Okay. And so when a cell tower is broadcasting, let's say 60 watt light bulb, we can see the light bulb. And just like light hits us, we're getting hit with the energies, these frequencies that are coming off the cell tower. And what happens is in 1G and 2G, we learned how to make them directional. So once your cell phone turned on and we were talking, the tower used technologies to tighten up that energy and make it more direct between me and my phone. So we would drop a lot less calls. We'd have more enjoyable environment. There were studies done at the time that showed that we didn't have a major biological impact, but we saw that you could see the outline of a cell phone and a thermograph using temperature measurement and see along your ear. You could tell what brand it was because the way someone would hold it on their ear, you could see the heat imprint on there. So we knew that there was something happening. We kind of ignored it because those frequencies went deep, and they got ultimately, before they got to a vital organ, got absorbed in our bone density, right? The bone was enough to say, okay, we got it. We're going to heat up a little bit. We'll cook you a little bit, but we're probably not going to shut down your liver and your kidneys and start causing other problems, okay? And so as they went up in frequency so we could stream more Netflix and we could enjoy this phone even better, what happened was they turned up the frequency. They turned up the power. Now that frequency now goes less and less depth in your body. And for the case of 5G, the data shows that we're about 5 to 6 millimeters, okay, deep into the body. Well, if I took a knife and I cut into 5 millimeters deep into your body, what would I find?
5 millimeters blood.
Yeah, exactly. That's all that's there, especially if I have fat layer and we have a skin layer, right? But ultimately, if I cut 5 millimeters deep or 10 millimeters deep, that far, it's blood. We don't worry about vital organs. The blood now is being impacted. Wow. So imagine the blood is high in iron, right? The way we transmit information is that we mechanically vibrate a crystal, and that crystal sends voltage up and down, up and down, up and down in an antenna that's mostly made of iron. Okay. Okay. We use copper in here, but it's iron. It operates in the iron spectrum. So what happens is our blood vibrates because it's going that deep into our bodies. It's not going past that. It's going there, and all that energy is being dumped into that layer. So guess what happens? We vibrate those red blood cells.
Mm-hmm.
And what we've noticed, and the data's out there, and you can find it pretty easy. Look at for 5G blood damage, look for 5G calcium channel, look for 5G mitochondria. And what we find is as we screw with the blood, we push the pH down. That raises the raises the acidity, lowers the alkalinity in the body. And what we find is cells start to lock up, or their ability to move nutrients in and out, their ability to move oxygen and carbon dioxide in and out. Guess what? Gets locked up, and the cells become really inefficient. Okay.
Yeah,
we weaken the body drastically.
That explains everything, because before I started waking up to all this, I saw a blood analysis doctor. I made a YouTube short about this. Saw a blood analysis doctor, and he was like, "Do you sleep close to a Wi-Fi router?" I was like, "I mean, it's in the other room, but the wall is right there, you know." And he's like, "Yeah, it's scrambling your blood, like your cells and your DNA."
Yeah. You can see that in dark field microscopy. There's videos all over the internet. They're on BodyAlign.com. Shows what happens to our blood under bombardment with EMF. And you'll see red blood cells that are beautifully disc spaced shaped, that are beautiful, like a flying saucer shape. And what happens is that as they start to get impacted by EMFs, they become corona-like. Actually, you've seen the corona, which is a crown in Spanish, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. They get spiky on the edges as they run out of fulfillment. There's no oxygen going in. It's building up with all the breakdown of what's going on in the cells, the waste and nutrition. They get locked up. And so you now see these very ugly shape. The pH of the blood crashes. Iron gets sticky. And what happens is we have two beautiful red blood cells. They start to look ugly, and they like to stick together. Well, if I take like two Frisbees, imagine them. But if I have a surface area here and a surface area here, and oxygen comes in and carbon dioxide goes out and glycogen goes in and waste comes out. If I have two of these, I have great two surface areas that are fantastic. And even if it gets spiky, it's not too bad. But imagine two of them stuck together. Now, the blood has two cells that are touching. That means I went from 4 individual surface areas, right? Sides of this. Now I'm down to 2. Now imagine I chain them along because they get so sticky and they get big globules. Okay. I'm left with very limited amount of surface area for me to diffuse oxygen and the carbon dioxide out. So your blood gets incredibly weakened. And you see this in dark field microscopy. Your blood looks ugly, your cells look ugly, and at the same time, they look very clumpy. And we see blood pressure raise as those clumps get to the very small arteries, capillaries in our body. The heart has to push harder to push them through, because instead of one cell, it's 50 cells or 100 cells all kind of stuck together. And this is what happens under EMF bombardment. There's other biological things that make that happen, but ultimately in today's environment, we see that happening with EMF bombardment all the time. I think it's really key to understand that that's what it's doing to us. It's an invisible damage to the body. It weakens our immune system. It makes the inside of us very hostile. And when we get virus attacks, and as they come into our body, most of the modern viruses live and breathe in your bloodstream. Okay, they get infected in the bloodstream, and they manifest very similar to what some of these EMF energies are doing to the blood. They weaken it and weaken it, weaken it. So imagine it, you got this energies from EMF hitting the body, weakening the blood. You expose yourself to influenza or any of the viruses that are out there today, and you will crash your body. Yeah. And it's not because the organs are being damaged, it's because the blood is being damaged. And we've seen that today with modern analysis. We went worried about respirators and the like to take care of people, but ultimately what we found is we can treat them, make them better with other chemicals, other agents that we could use, but it's all designed around treating these problems as though it's a bloodstream problem. Yeah. So I saw this happening in 1G, 2G, didn't worry about it, but I started doing all the investigation that I could, bought a dark field microscope so I could see it happening. And I watched it progress from 2G to 3G was a major step. very large step in terms of the damage that we were doing, because we were retrofitting cell towers. We were adding additional power lines to get up to the top of the cell towers so we could get even more and more energy out there. And then what we found is when we got to 5G, we had to put a lot more cell towers up. And so an area that might have one cell tower every mile now has to have 4 cell towers every mile, so they can give the user experience and get all that frequency into us.
Yeah.
So in 2010 and 12, I started studying just the pure biology of the problem. I didn't care how the computer chips work, didn't really care whether you were an Apple or a Samsung phone. What I cared about was what's happening in the biology of the body. So I started researching, studying this mitochondria impact and red blood cell impact. And I said, how could I treat it? Well, one way is I could turn off my cell phone, which wouldn't do me any good, because imagine the cell tower is right there and my guy using his phone is over there. I'm in direct line of that cell tower, right? I'm going to get a lot of energy on me. Or if I'm in the line at Walmart, the person's talking on their cell phone in front of me, I can't shield myself from it. I could change my man cave here into a Faraday cage and line it with metal and ground it, but my phone wouldn't work. I would pick up my phone and the signal would be dead, because all the EMS would be either absorbed inside or absorbed from getting inside from the cell tower. Well, that's no fun. The reason I helped invent this stuff was so we could enjoy life, that we could hear, you're traveling and you want to talk to your kid. Well, isn't this a great invention? Because I can FaceTime, or I can Duo, or I can do things and enjoy it. I remember the first digital call I made. I was standing on the Great Wall of China talking to my kids back in Dallas, Texas. And it was huge for me. I got to hear their voice and read to them that night to say good night. And I just thought I had been part of a major revolution, because I made the world very, very narrow at the time. So for all this thing and its beauty, we got to worry about protecting the body. So some companies will often a vector that says, we're going to absorb the EMF, put it in a special case. Okay, that case then will not allow EMFs to get in or out. So when it's near your body, and you crazy ladies that put it in your bra, or you put it in your purse up on your hip, men who slide it in their pockets, right? We're putting this technology, these frequencies so close to us that it's having even a bigger impact. They're nice to have. They don't afford you the protection. They'll protect you from your phone, but not from the person next to you's phone, or from the cell tower, or from your Wi-Fi router. So unless you want to live in a cage, right, a grounded cage, we got to do something else. So people looked at harmonizing frequencies. They looked at ways of trying to neutralize them before they got deep into your body. And I took a different approach. I had gotten into Chinese medicine, started looking at ways that the body was impacted biologically through energetic means, like Chinese medicine, right? How a needle in frequencies could elevate the body. My mom had stopped smoking. They put some needles in her ear and she no longer smokes. And they gave up 9 years without smoking. And weight loss and all the things that the Chinese were able to affect people. So there's energies and healing that we learned from traditional Chinese medicine, which is more in the last 500 years. And there's classical Chinese medicine that goes back 10,000 years. And here's one for you, Liz. Do you realize that 2/3 of the world's population believe, as I believe, that I can make you weller, okay, with energy, not chemicals? Okay. When you're in China, in Africa, in Australia, you would rather go see your shaman or your witch doctor or your energy healer. In the States, we see naturopaths coming on board now that are using energies as a way to elevate your wellness, as a way to affect your life, right? That affect the biology in the body. So who's dumber? 2/3 of the world's population, they're doing pretty good. In the United States right now, we're ranked 14th in the world in terms of survivability, right? That ain't all that good for a company that produces the most amount of pharmaceuticals. And I'm not against pharmaceuticals. I just think they have their place, okay? And a lot of the things that we take pills for, we can handle energetically. And that's what I'm all about, is converting people from chemical wellness to energetic wellness. And I think as we do that, we can elevate their consciousness, elevate their quality of life, minimize their costs, take these bad things that have bad side effects, take them right out of your life. We'll talk about pain relief, how that does it. So as I learned more and more about Chinese medicine, what would an acupuncturist do to solve the problem that's happening in my blood because I have this in my pocket, right? So I got a list and met with them, studied them. I didn't get certified. I wanted to, but I decided not to, to be an acupuncturist because I wanted to make biological impact without chemicals. Well, I found that there's about 150 different frequencies, that I could use in order to reset my bloodstream back to where it needed to be. Wow. That's how this started to happen. I then was always into Tesla and always into technologies and frequencies and ways that we are seeing it happen today in our world. Nikola Tesla has been brilliant. He showed us that there are frequencies and energies that move DNA to DNA without going through the cosmos, without going through the EMF spectrum. We're putting this right in instantaneous communication, how twins know what's going on with each other, right? Yeah. Called it longitudinal scalar waves. And you can see that, read about it for the folks that are interested in it. But it was a way that he could demonstrate that things were faster than the speed of light. And Newtonian physics and Gaussian physics all tell us that can't happen. Can't go faster than the speed of light. So I started learning, created Tesla coils, and I was able to take those frequencies that I wanted of Registry and magnesium and sodium and calcium. I could find very pure product to put them on an array, absorb the frequencies of those products, amplify them, and then broadcast them back out through some pretty sophisticated coils and embed them in Mylar. That's just a simple Mylar sheet, 3-dimensional, so it's got a lot of surface area, And that frequency then becomes permanent. And as it approaches the body, there you go, as it approaches the body, it works like an acupuncturist needle, As it's near the body, some of my products got to be very specific locations, and other ones are big and strong, and they all affect meridians of the body regardless of the distance away. So this has got 150 frequencies in there that have been known. Science has showed us that Regis, rice, and L-arginine are all anti-inflammatories, help the blood return to normal. Magnesium, sodium, and calcium help the liver and the kidneys work together to elevate the pH back up to where it belongs, 7.0 to 7.2 pH levels. The body can do it itself. It just needs to be turned back on. So remember, I was telling you about that clumping that happens when our pH gets ugly, right? pH settles down. Well, imagine this is happening in your system. You've got 1 million red blood cells, and they're all operating independently. They're beautiful. The heart, the liver, the kidneys, the gallbladder, and the bone marrow are all sitting there going, we are in heaven. We are all in sync. We all know what's going on. Well, imagine we start to clump them, The communication between these organs in the red blood cell, the bone marrow says, I'm counting as they go by. You got enough. You still got 1 million of them, right? The muscles are going, yeah, but only 50 of them are working, right? Because they're all stuck together and I'm not getting enough oxygen. And the liver goes, I can't do anything with that. The kidney goes, I can't do anything with that. So now we've got our body locked up. They can't make more red blood cells. The pH is out of whack, and we're having a miserable day. We're going to the vending machine trying to get a cup of coffee or a soda or a bunch of sugar to amp us back up. So I look for products that reverse that, reconnect all of these energetic highways. So the liver now goes, oh, I need to fix this problem. Kidneys, you got any magnesium? Magnesium in your bloodstream will push your pH back up. Sodium will push your bloodstream back up. They neutralize acids, And these will dump into your system. Your pH goes back up and you start to feel better almost immediately. If you went a couple days without this on your phone and then put it there and you put it near your body, and you're like, it's now Wednesday. Monday and Tuesday, I didn't have anything. It's now Wednesday. And I'm not going to the vending machine at 3:00 in the afternoon to get a hit of coffee or a 5-hour energy or that headache. I get a very foggy afternoon if I don't have this product near me. And this pushes that away from me. It keeps my body toned. So every aspect of my body is communicating. The Chinese have this on these meridians, these highways of the body that communicate. We use those to open them back up and allow the liver and the kidneys, the pericardium and the heart. That's the two right here that are very vital for that wristband that you have. The liver and the kidneys are a little farther up. And so these meridians right here, we use and signal with that wristband to help your body continue to stay in balance, so everything knows what's going on. So imagine when you don't have this, EMF acts like a virus in the body. Okay.
Yeah.
Like a computer gets just slowed down, and the memory starts to get clogged. The buses get clogged. And it just cannot get information to and from. So no matter all these viruses that we got, this acts like an antivirus, not at the viruses that we're familiar with, influenza-like viruses. This is just simply like a computer virus. This reboots your body and pushes it back to normal. So we've sold hundreds of thousands of these out the door here at BodyAlign, and we continue to get feedback. The numbness in our hands go away. If you have a computer or a router in your area, we make these strips that are cheaper. You get 2 of them in a package, and it allows you to put them on your mouse or to put them on other electronics, okay, that are in your house, more effective than putting this on. You're trying to buy these and put them on all your products. You can easily use the other products that we have and get a better economic value than putting these round stickers all over the place.
Yeah. We've got a kew questions. Let me go way back up. Let's see. JR Kearns.
Hey, JR.
What do you think about Starlink and Q phones?
There's no difference in the impact of our bodies, right? Now, think about, remember I told you frequency and distance, right? So if a satellite's 50 miles over our head, it's got to work a lot harder than an antenna, a cell phone antenna coming down upon us. Now, what I can tell you is, do I have more faith in Elon Musk sending us good frequencies, appropriate frequencies? I have more faith that he's going to do that. Do I have belief that cell towers today in the wrong hands can create very negative frequencies that could damage our body? We use 900 megahertz today, which is a pretty slow frequency, in our microwaves, and we cook water, right? We vibrate the hell out of molecules of water and it gets hot. Well, I could do that in a cell tower. There's nothing that stops me from doing other than good consciousness. And guys like me snooping around in the cell towers, measuring all the frequencies coming off to make sure they're not broadcasting in known frequency range. So the answer is yes. I'm more appreciative and more trusting of Starlink and Q phones than I am of Verizon and Sprint and T-Mobile and these other guys in the wrong hands. Okay, the Chinese especially built a lot of the equipment. It could be backdoored, and the frequencies coming out could be modified easily to create more damaging. The cell phone companies in the U.S., especially the Apples and the Verizons of the world, have said, we've eliminated and canceled out any frequencies that we know that have a negative biological impact, like we vibrate, we boil water, or we burn up aluminum, or we burn up metal, right? They've eliminated those frequencies, so we shouldn't be bombarded with them. I don't trust them, right? But the reality is, I think Musk we can trust. At least it appears we can trust that guy.
Oh, okay. How long do the hologram or the hologram stickers last? A year?
I tell people as you get a new phone, this is something you ought to consider changing, but you'll notice if I just pick my fingernail underneath it, it'll come right off, right? So as long as it's got a good color to it, the edges are not frayed and it looks like there's no water damage, peel it off. I want it behind your case. So in normal day use, this is inside your case. So these never get damaged, physically damaged or worn out, because they're not touching anything. I think we saw yours in your case. And that's what we need to be doing, is put them there so they don't rub on our pockets and stuff, because that gold will rub off, that Mylar finish will rub off, and it's shot. So as long as it looks good and clean, okay, you're great. If it starts to fray on the edges, if it gets a crease in it, you drop it in the water, you need to replace it. And they're pretty cheap. They're $30 investment, not a major dollar. And you can get our use your discount in your site to get a nice discount on them, so you're not paying nearly that amount of money, and you're able to keep up with this as the new phones come out. There's been no revision to this. We haven't modified it through 5G phones. We haven't decided whether 6G or 7G phones need to have something. Likely it would be bigger. We don't think we'll change the frequencies, but we think we need more surface area just so we can give your body more energy, deeper energy, so they can react to what's going to happen with 6G and 7G.
Okay, that's good to know, because I was thinking you had to change them every 6 months or so.
No. Every cell phone, I mean, that's where you should consider it. Hey, I'm getting a new cell phone, but you get a new cell phone, you get a new one of these, and then you drop it, and you're getting a new phone that's going to be brand new, and this is only 6 months old. Peel it off and stick it on the new phone.
Okay.
And I've got some folks, if you're going to be getting a new phone, but you want to get this with you now, what I tell people is this comes on a piece of wax paper, okay, a little cardboard. And you just peel it off, and instead of putting it on your phone, leave it on the wax paper. Just put it in between the phone and the case, okay? And let it be loose in there. And then when you get your new phone, peel it and stick it on the phone, okay? But as it's set, because why waste it or run the risk that you're going to crease it or something? Just leave it on the paper inside there. And then when you put your phone in there, it's loose. You might see it show up in the window here as it moves around a little bit, but who cares, right? It keeps it clean and neat until you get your more permanent phone, and we can start the clock on that one, so we don't have to buy one of these every year. My dream would be every 1.5 to 2 year range, and that's kind of the cycle that people buy new phones. So I think it kind of fits in that model. I picked phones. I could have done a necklace or something else. I picked phones because this is the most impactful thing to our bodies. And I don't like that ladies put it in their bra. Please don't, please don't, please don't. But if you do, this helps protect your body, right? I don't like it in women. I don't like it up here. I don't know if you can see me very well, but right here, because you have a short purse, right? Or you have a longer purse and it comes down in your hip. I don't like it so close to the ovaries of the body. You just showed it to a baby there quickly. Our ovaries are very sensitive to EMFs, very modest tissue there. And I don't want to see anything happen to that DNA payload that's available for our children. You get your DNA when you're in utero, when you're mama. Men recycle their DNA every 30 days. Okay. All our DNA is fresh. So for men, please don't put it in your front pocket. That back pocket's better. There's a little more tissue between here and your testes. But even if you do, if you're going to think about children, please have one of these on. Please keep this thing as far away from you as you can for 30, 40 days, just so your body is producing the most clean and healthy reproductive sperm that you have. And it's just going to make things that much better for you. So I'm a big fan. Everybody should have one of these. And we're not stopping EMFs. We're just making the body deal with it. And if you do have any damages, this has got the frequencies in it to help your body repair the cellular level so you can go on and have a great day.
That's great. There's this one. What generates that power to change the frequencies?
A great question. There are enough energies in the universe for me to do this. So longitudinal scalar waves are everywhere. We tap into that. We tap into heat. Okay. We tap into the vibratory frequencies coming off of here. So we can use the frequencies of 3.2 gigahertz, okay, out of this phone in order to activate those molecules and get them moving. So they will reverberate at a different frequency. They reverberate back to the body at the molecular frequency that we've designed them. So we use light, we use heat, we use the natural neutrino energies, the universal energies from the world, and then we just sneak the energies that are here. We know that it excites our product, and these molecules, they vibrate. And all they need is to be kickstarted, and they vibrate for a while, but they vibrate only at their native frequency. I can't make red yeast rice vibrate at a molecule of red yeast rice or L-arginine is going to vibrate at that frequency. But I may get it such that it's a harmonic of a faster frequency, or maybe just enough that frequency is enough to energize it and to keep it moving. So these are what we find is these are producing the frequencies in total darkness, in ice cold weather, and we're just stealing the frequencies that are available to make that happen.
Wow, that's cool. Someone said, is this a reason they outlawed lead paint? I mean,
I'll tell you the reason they outlawed lead paint is they finally, after years of thinking everything's fine, and they put it in our gasoline. I come from a generation after lead paint, But when they had lead in gasoline, they put it in the air so we could breathe lead into us, right? Exhaust gas. But we did it because we found it's a neurotoxin. It screws up our nervous system. And heavy metals tend to do that. Amalgams in our teeth and lead. So just, and the analogy that I draw is, we thought it was fine to have lead in your paint. And it wasn't until 50, 60, 100 years later that we realized, no, it's no good. And now you got to have a hazmat suit on to remediate lead out of your house. We're going to find the same thing with EMFs. So we didn't, they outlawed lead because a little bit of it will fry your brain, your nervous system. It'll stop and you die. I mean, and I believe it's one of the causes of some of the birth issues, because my generation's DNA, and we know that, and we've learned this from the vaccine community, we've learned it from the non-vaccine community, that our body produces antibodies, right? Defenses for things based on some stimulation, electrical stimulation, a chemical stimulation, mRNA stimulation. We start to make that happen. Well, lead does that. Lead changes our DNA. In the telomeres, the section of the DNA that actually builds a protein to do something into the body, we know that it affects it. And it gets a bad code that comes out of there. And lead is notorious for doing that for us. And what we've known is it's about 6 or 7 generations before that genetic code gets reversed. Okay. So there are lots of things that we've seen in nature happen. And we call that epigenetics, right? It's what's happening not from our birth DNA, but what's happening as the environment, as our lifestyle is modifying it. We have twins that we sent to space. One went to space, one stayed here. They came back and their DNA was different. Now, 0.001% different, but it's different, but it's not supposed to be different, right? One egg divided 2 children, right? It's not supposed to be different. It wasn't before he went up to space, but now it's different. So we know there's an environmental impact to DNA, and that happens all the time. And lead paint was a major player. Tuberculosis was a major player in creating long-term negative DNA impact in generations.
Yeah. This isn't a question, but someone's giving you a review saying the pain patches were magic on her 80-year-old dad. This is Kim. My family appreciates all your products and what you do for humanity. Have a good evening.
Wow, that's this product.
Yeah.
So, I talked earlier, we've hit the EMF section pretty hard, and why we want to protect ourselves. It's pretty simple to do it. It's not a lot of money. And a lot of people will tell you that it's snake oil. And I appreciate their theory on it. But, when you buy a phone, you sign a waiver that's saying, we don't think EMF waves hurt you, but if they do, you can't sue us. Okay. Wow. Because they won't do the research to prove me wrong. I've proven that it makes a negative impact to the body. They're saying, it's not that bad, though. It doesn't do anything. It's like stubbing your toe. All right. And your body will heal after that. Well, my data says that they're dead ass wrong, that they are indeed doing something negative to the body, and we can't outgrow it. Our DNA can't outproduce it, and it's going to take us down, make us more susceptible that something else is going to get us, like a virus, like a bacteria, like a fungus, something hitting our bodies that we're just weakened so much that we can't do anything about it.
Yep.
Any other questions on EMF?
Let's see. Don't see any. Nope. Doesn't look like it.
So I spent the first part of my journey on understanding Tesla and understanding biology. The first product we did was this product that you and I have on, this wellness band. Yep. Okay, you have the sexy white one. I have the blue one. And what we found was these are really good meridians of the body. And I said, what if I just wanted to be healthier every day? What if I just wanted to have sleep better at night and have less pain and less headaches? What can I do? So this is what we did. We took a hologram. It's a much smaller hologram. It's more intimate to the body than what's on your phone. Pericardium in the heart. Yep. And the liver and the kidneys. What can we do? So we found 300 frequencies, okay, that we embed in this band that provide EMF support, especially the repair for damages to EMF, but it provides the entire energetic food pyramid. Okay. So we studied things that you would want to have around your body every day, all day long. It's things that elevated your energy level, things that decreased your anxiety level, things that decrease pain, release serotonins and endorphins and dopamines in the body. Okay. And that's what we put in here. This lowers pain. Okay. This elevates your energy every day. It'll give you a clear mind. And in conjunction with this product, you're about as good as you can get in the afternoon, as good as your DNA can get you, right? May not be enough. Okay. But at least your body is not being suppressed by what's happening in the environment. We're going to push your body to your rightful DNA stage. And so this was born, we call it the Ultimate Wellness Band, because it's really designed to give your body those frequencies that keep your body running right. You're going to see that pH balance that we see in the blood is improved by using this product as well. Okay, so especially older men that have this pH problem because they eat poorly, they don't exercise, their blood is a mess. They're bombarded with EMFs. They're not feeling good. There's active viruses, shingles, and the like throughout their body. And they just, the blood pressure that they have is ultimately because these cells are sticking together. And as they get to these little capillaries, there's a lot of back pressure to push that string of cells through the capillaries. And what we found is products like this wristband and even the Cell Protect Disc go a long way in terms of lowering blood pressure, because it helps to individualize. And, you know, through your eyes and a lot of your body, one cell at a time goes through that capillary. And if you have 10 of them hooked together, the capillary, it's not physically big enough to let it through. So it backs up and it starts to starve the cells downstream of what they need, oxygen and glycogen. So the body waits for that pressure to build up and it gets popped through. So we've seen, especially older folks, have really good results with lower blood pressure, and folks that have modest but more permanent pain like arthritis and pains from diseases like fibromyalgia and lupus. This product works pretty well in helping to trim that down, maybe an 8 to a 5 kind of range. And if they can get off gabapentin, or they can get off metformin or other drugs they take to improve their life, if this can get them down a notch where they don't need that, that's a bingo. That's a beautiful world for me, because I don't want to see people invested in pharmaceuticals when there's more natural ways to do it.
Right. Someone's asking, Rhonda's asking, how long are they good for, and does water affect them?
So they are waterproof. So there's a little clear window in the back there. Okay. Surgical rubber. So as long as that hologram is clean and neat and it's not kinked because you folded it, you can keep going 1.5 years up to 2 years. Okay. Very seldom do I get one that's 2 years old back, Rhonda. I get them because they've torn something or went through the wash. And and I've seen them where I can press on it and I can see fluid moving around in this little window. I shower with mine. If I'm just jumping in the pool to cool off, I leave it on. But if I'm going to go swimming and be more physical, I take it off and throw it up on my beach towel. You're good. You're a good hour before this desaturates when you take it off, a good hour before the effects start to decrease. So if you're going to go on a run and you don't want to wear it, if you're going to because you're going to get all sweaty, or you're going to jump in the pool or be in the ocean, get knocked around by the waves, just take it off and throw it on your beach towel. Okay. I've got sunscreen on mine. You know, occasionally I got to take it off and scrub it with soap and water to make it look good, but it's fine to be in the shower. The only thing I tell people is you can try it, but I don't recommend wearing it at night because it's an upper, right? Moves your energy level up. Some people don't sleep very well when they're wearing it. Okay. They don't realize it, but their quality of sleep and then their recognition of their sleep, man, I didn't sleep very good last night. I tell them, take this off an hour before you go to bed. So your body the energy side of it starts to come back down so you can sleep better that night. So a lot of folks tell me it's fantastic. They use it 24/7, and other folks can only get 12 to 16 hours a day out of it. And I just tell people start with the 12 to 16 hours. And then as you feel the effects of what's happening to your body over time, go ahead and try to wear it overnight a couple of times and see if you sleep even better, because that's what people that tell me that wear it all night long says, oh my gosh, I sleep so much better with it.
Yeah, I actually do. I sleep great with it. I never
Well, you've
take
been
it
a while
off.
without it having that baby, so I get it.
Yeah, my body needed it. That's for sure. I was going to ask you, does it protect from EMFs technically?
About 60% coverage.
Okay.
So because we're still focused at the right frequencies we're going to put in this that cover cell repair, okay, also are the same frequencies we had used for EMF protection to modulate the blood. So you're getting that. It's about a 60% overlap. So if I had just limited dollars to invest, I would probably invest in this first, okay, because you're getting EMF coverage and you're getting that overall first level of energetic balancing. Okay.
Yeah.
Second one I invest in is this. Okay. Pretty modest investment at your discount rate. But if I had to pick one, buy yourself this for Christmas, buy yourself this one for Valentine's Day, and kind of stock up on your wellness. And, by a year from now, you're going to feel like $1 million because you've been able to invest in the things that are non-chemical. And
right.
You don't have that. A lot of women that have very tough cycles, cramping and excessive bleeding, this is a product that's going to give you your first balance on it. And a lot of women tell me that their PMS is much lower. Their just day-to-day lifestyle is so much better because they're just becoming balanced. So it affects all of our wellness, soup to nuts. And I try to encourage people that if you're going to make the first investment, do it in something that's kind of whole body as opposed to something more local like our pain products or our sleep product.
Yeah, I feel like I've drank a cup of coffee. If I do take it off and put it on in the morning, I'm like, I'm good. I don't need caffeine.
That's fantastic.
Ava is asking, are we not supposed to wear them while working out? I thought they help with performance enhancement, right?
So if you're working out, you can keep it on. But if you take it off and set it on your towel, you're good for an hour. You've got the same level that if you had it on. So the reason I would take it off is if I thought I was going to damage it. Okay. If I'm doing my curls, you can leave it on. Okay. It does enhance performance, but the moment leading up to that exercise, if you took it off, set it down, you do the same amount of performance as if you left it on during that event. Okay. It starts to bleed off, and it isn't for about an hour before you would notice much difference. Okay. Yeah. So this is all about hygiene. This is all about, is this going to get in the way of what I'm doing? And if it is, take it off and don't worry about it. If it's not, leave it right on. It's not going to, your oils and your sweat's not going to hurt this. Okay. But some people tell me, oh, Steve, it's just so hot underneath there. And I'm like, set it on your towel, go work out, or put it on the top of your gloves. A lot of people use gloves, but no, absolutely feel free to wear them and working out, but don't, if you feel like, hey, it's too much of a pain in the neck to leave it on and want to take it off, you can do that. It's not a problem at all.
Yeah. Yeah. I definitely leave mine on for everything.
And again, it's another modest investment. These things aren't so expensive that you can't replace them with a couple hours of labor, right? Equivalent to paychecks. So I tell people all the time that it's better to invest in them and use them as best you can. If you're tight, then be sparingly. Use this product all day long, but don't run the risk of mechanically or physically damaging it. This is one, see this little loop right here? I don't offer this band anymore because of the loop style, but people were breaking that loop, which isn't necessary. It doesn't affect the form, fit, or function, but it does affect, if you don't have that loop there, then this piece over here tends to twist out. Okay. You put it in there, it tends to twist out a little bit, and the band gets kind of cattywampus on them. So they're having to use a rubber band or something to repair it. So I went to a different class, so we don't have that problem anymore. But almost everyone I've ever had returned to me has been mechanically damaged. It doesn't energetically wear out. Okay, as long as that's kind of neat. I don't know if you can see on this one. It's got a little wrinkle in there, and that doesn't hurt anything at all, right down through the middle of that 8 and infinity symbol. And I tell folks, hey, if it's kinked, crease, then it's a problem. If it's just got a little fluctuation in it, it's not a big deal. You're fine. So this band itself has minerals and crystals in it. So it has shungite and organite and tourmaline, all known good crystals for the body, good frequencies for the body.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of we have them in the hologram frequencies, but we grind them up, put them right in the rubber, right in the silicone, so people can have that as well. So
I was about to ask you. That was just my next question, was what crystals are, because I did hear you talk
we use
about
a
that.
lot of crystals in the formulation. So, but we use them energetically. So we would use crystals that are known to be good for the body, but instead of putting the dust of those crystals in there, we just put them on our transmitting tray, absorb them out, okay, amplify them, and push them into the hologram, into the products.
Wow. That's some serious technology right there. That's awesome.
You know, but it's interesting that you say that, but the technology is not sexy. Traditional Chinese medicine is sexy. These guys 10,000 years ago figured out a way to make a biological impact in your body without chemicals.
Yeah.
I'm just stealing it from them. I'm just stealing Reggie's rice and things, that frequencies that they use from natural molecules, and says, how can I just put it into the body differently? Okay.
Right.
And that was this pretty simple view of Tesla. So that part, I don't even talk about how we do it anymore, as much as why did I pick Reggie's rice over L-arginine, or why did I pick other bee pollen over cinnamon? There's no cinnamon in any of my products. Frequencies of cinnamon, not the molecules. And people go, well, cinnamon's good for you. And I go, yeah, through the digestive tract, but cinnamon's the bark of a tree. If I was to grind that up and extract the oils out of it, it would be very rich in mold spores. Okay, because how do I get them out? It's in the bark of the tree. Mold grows on those, and it's down deep and deep into it. I can refine it and refine it and refine it. But if I'm going to pick up the frequency of cinnamon, I'm going to pick up the frequency of mold that's right next to it. I can't dial it and go, just give me cinnamon. No, here's a sample. Give me all the frequencies that are in that sample. So I absorb all those and put it in. I could give somebody a severe reaction. I could activate molds in their body because I've given them the signals of the mold. And that mold could say, hey, we're getting turned on here. We're going to start growing. So you have to be very sensitive to what you give, the frequencies you give the human body. And that's what I've become, Elizabeth. I'm way more tuned into the biology of the body than I am to the way I create frequencies or the way I extract frequencies. To me, that's old hat. We did that 12 years ago. And now all we do is study biology. We're looking at, I'll give you a new one. I got turned on by a biologist, human biologist, about stem cells. And I'm like, yep, I've always heard of stem cells. You know, they're good for the body and the like. And he's like, there are ways to produce more stem cells in the body. And copper peptide is one of the ways that we can do that. And that if you were getting injections of it, maybe you were in Mexico and they were going to increase your stem cells, they would give you copper peptides and some other ones to advance your body's production of these stem cells. Well, I can take any molecule and make the energetic signal of that. So we're working now to see if we can take, and it's easy to measure stem cells. A lot of labs out there do it for you. So I could do a before and after to see if my energetic view of collagen or of copper peptides could do the same thing for the body and produce more stem cells. So this is the kind of research that we do. This is the kind of work that we're doing. We're looking for ways to create a better biological impact to the body by using simple Tesla technology. And it isn't how I do it, it's what I'm doing. And the trust that people get created with me because they know I'm not going to give them something that's going to hurt them. I'm going to look for ways, test ways that when they get pain relief, they're not getting, I can easily take this pain patch, it peels off and goes on to where you have pain. I could load it with lidocaine and not tell you about it. Okay, that's an approved FDA molecule that relieves pain, right? But that would be kind of unethical if I was to say, oh, by the way, the glue is loaded with lidocaine, right? Yeah. That would be bad. In my case, I can give you the energetic signal of lidocaine and you're going to feel pain relief. Okay, I'm going to give you turmeric and other anti-inflammatories. I can give you the energetic signaling of that. It's going to do that to your entire body. So that's what's cool about what I do, is to studying that biological impact.
Yeah. I love the phrase that I've heard a few people say, but they say it's not new age, it's ancient age. I love
Back
that
to the
because it's,
future, right?
yeah.
It's like you went back to the Native American Indians and Asian cultures. They used energy over molecules. And I'll tell
Mhm.
you the first downfall. Liquor is probably the first pharmaceutical. Okay, it had lots of uses, but ultimately, the Native Americans used the bark of a white willow tree, and they would
Mhm.
gnaw on it to get silic acid,
Yeah.
silicic acid, and white man saw that and said, "That's pretty cool. That works." And so Dr. Baer and Felix Hoffman formulated a lab and synthetically made acetylsilic acid. And I forgive the pronunciation. I speak quickly as a New Yorker, but it's acetylsilic acid, which is synthesized silic acid. And that was our first pharmaceutical called aspirin. Okay.
Yeah.
And that's widely available and used by everybody today, but it was taken from the Native Americans that found it in nature. And that molecule existed and today would do the same thing to our body, except the white willow tree is loaded with acid rain. It's loaded with pesticides and all sorts of bad stuff. So I would not want to gnaw on the bark of a white willow tree for pain relief. I certainly wouldn't want to take aspirin, right?
Yeah.
That's not good for us. And ibuprofen and acetaminophen all have liver warnings on the label. So who'd want to be a part of something that it's a toxin? It's going in your body, release your pain, but it makes your liver toxic. So the
Right.
liver works its butt off to try to get those toxins back out of your body. So you have to take it every 4 hours.
Yeah. Rhonda's asking what is recommended for inflammation.
So I don't have products specific for a medical condition. I don't have an anti-inflammation patch that would help with that. So I warn folks that I'm more about I'm in pain, I can't sleep, I want to build muscle mass, or I'm toxic and I want to flush my body of toxins. But in general, there's a lot of literature, but I love L-arginine, the molecule. You can buy that as a supplement. Okay, it's been in the cardiovascular inflammation system. So if you got high blood pressure, coronary artery disease, these are some of the molecules you want to take that just reduce the inflammation that's inside the arteries. Okay, it's a wonderful molecule. Won the Nobel Prize because it's in relation to the nitrous oxide cycle in our blood. I love turmeric. I love red yeast rice. I love ashwagandha. All have been known to impact the inflammation that we have, the muscular level where the muscles are in pain and we need to reduce that pain. Those are phenomenal molecules. You can get good stuff, get them where they're part per million or it's coming from a reputable company where you could trust that you're not paying for dirty sock water.
Yeah, I've been taking turmeric while I've been pregnant. And speaking on reputable, I realized that the one that I was taking had seed oils in it, and I was really annoyed because that is like just canceling out the effect of the turmeric. But yeah, you've got to read labels on the back for sure.
Everything's a trade-off.
Yeah.
So you have to just be careful, right? Seed oils, generally something to stay away from when we got better oils, right? That you can take it in the body. So even CBD, I love CBD, but most of them are cut with pretty ugly, pretty bad oils for the body. So, but getting 50 milligrams of CBD in your body every day is probably not a bad thing.
Yeah.
And if you got to take along a little bit of bad olive oil or coconut oil with it, by all means, you got to do what you got to do.
Right.
Because if you eat broccoli, you're eating a lot worse than some of the seed oils that you might be getting. Okay. Our broccoli growing today is not healthy for us.
That reminds me that someone asked if here it is. If she was wondering if your products had any effect on parasites.
So we have a product that's a green patch that goes right below your belly button. So this is our sleep one, but it's green. It's called Detox. You can get it on our website. And that patch goes below your belly button. What we find is as we remove toxins, the parasites that we might have becomes less hospitable in our bodies. So if you're taking some of the folic acids and stuff that people use to get rid of parasites, it works in conjunction with them and helps accelerate that process. But nothing I have specific. We did have some formulations that we worked on, but we did not put it for human trial. We did it in goats. We used sugar water. So we made water that had crystals of sugar in it. We could program those crystals, only good for about a day or two, because then the energy gets dissipated. But we were feeding them to goats at the Texas A&M University down in Texas, and we were helping to eradicate a parasite in the goat population. So the technology can be used for that. I just don't have a product specifically around parasites, but a good healthy body makes the ability for parasites to live pretty inhospitable. But there are lots of good supplements that will purge those out of your body pretty quick. It's most of us are infected with some level of parasite, and there are really good supplements to get it out of us.
Yeah. Yeah. I just wonder if, even if this thing helping your blood not to clump, and even the EMS, because parasites can live in your blood. So I wonder if that, just.
Sure. It's going to activate your white blood cells. So if they're marked for death by the body, right, the white blood cells are going to go out and eat them, right, and clean up that, and the kidney is going to pass them out of your body. So yes, everything works hand in hand. So the weller I can make you, I say healthy, but I really mean weller. The more well we make you, the less hospitable that environment is. So for new ones coming along, they're not going to have the ability to live. And for the ones that we have, you need to supplement them out of your body. My product's good, but it's not designed to do that.
Right. I mean, and your blood is your literal source of life. So if you can help that out, you help yourself out in every way.
Amen. I mean, that's it's connected to every tissue in our body.
I'm not really sure what JR means about this. How does he know about H2O2, food grade hydrogen peroxide? I've had good results. Not sure what that question exactly is.
Not sure why he would be ingesting it, but generally hydrogen peroxide is one of the best oxidizers that we have. Okay. It's one that kills all of those free radicals that are in the body that take us down. Okay. I'm an outside in guy. Let me make sure you understand that. I deeply study ways that energy can impact what's inside of our body. So I'm an outside in visionary, right? Once you ingest something, that's a different dojo for me. I don't know what's happening with a lot of this stuff, although I know what I want to mimic. If someone showed me that hydrogen peroxide, food grade, was good for the body because it removed free radicals in the bloodstream and it was one of the best antioxidants that you could have, I can clone that in a heartbeat and provide it to the body energetically and not inside out. So where you have to put it inside your body. So is it RJ? Is that what we call him, or JR? RJ?
JR.
Yeah.
Kill viruses to put it on. I think that's supposed to be skin. Largest organ.
Yeah.
No, that gets into the blood. I put it on my skin, paper towel, diluted.
Yep.
Okay. Good thing you're not injecting.
We know that low. I've seen video of highly diluted, as he said there, hydrogen peroxide. They take that and put it in a petri dish, right? And they'll put a drop in it. You watch viruses explode. I mean, you know how it foams, right?
Yeah.
You can see videos of them where they just start to tremble.
Wow.
And they explode. Now, inside the body I'm not sure that's the same effect, but I know outside the body, that's what's happening. So you wipe down your countertops and wipe down your hands and your body with hydrogen peroxide. That's fantastic. And we do a lot of decontamination, viral and bacterial decontamination with good quality hydrogen peroxide. A lot of the sprays that you see in the stores now for our vegetables and stuff, we went away from alcohol. We went away from other more toxic things to hydrogen peroxide because the body can deal with it pretty well when we ingest it.
Okay. That's good to know because I did get told like years ago that the foaming was nothing. So that's good to know.
Well, the foaming is the oxidation of the iron that's in our blood. If I put it right here, it doesn't foam. I put blood there. There's red blood cells. There's iron in red blood cells. And that extra oxygen, remember, rust, right, is water and oxygen on metal, causes rust. So what you do is you're just accelerating that because you're giving a lot more oxygen and you oxygenate that blood. And it gives a little foam. So, hey, little one, Leo.
I think you wanted to make an appearance, maybe. He's a little tired, but he woke up. All right, let's see. Okay, gotcha. I used it on my wrist for fast absorption. Okay, gotcha. Yep, everybody's confirmed.
Bottom of the feet might be even better.
What did you say?
Bottom of your feet might be better.
Oh, wow.
Than your wrist.
Cool. All right. Well, we're a little over an hour now. Is there anything else that you wanted to cover? Any other products?
No, I just want folks to know that they need to go to your website. Make sure you, in the comments there, you put it. And we're going to now offer your folks listening now, if they buy one of the products, we're going to change your discount code to 25% off. So folks that get it, we'll have that available to everyone between now and the end of the year, midnight on this 11/59/59 on at the end of the year. So they'll get a discount and give them an opportunity to try it. And with BodyAlign, if you buy the product and it doesn't work or you don't feel like it's working, just send it back. We give you your money back in 30 days. Send it back. If it's the these kind of patches and anything that's left over, we have a clinic next door. It's a shelter for women that we send all of the products to get returned over to, so they can help women that need a little pain relief for sleep or want to build some energy back into their bodies. If you get some of these and you try them, don't be shy. Try them on people you don't know or people that you see in pain, because I promise you the ego that you'll get when they try it and the pain level drops so they can function is incredible. It just warms your heart. So it's like a stocking stuffer where you can tell grandma or tell somebody. A lot of them want to know how it works, and just tell them fantastic to try it so you can avert the psychosomatic effect. There's clearly a psychosomatic effect on all these products. I like to minimize that, especially if someone's trying it. So I just tell people that it works fantastic, and to try it. It's non-chemical, non-steroid, nothing in here that can hurt you. Okay. And for many people, it relieves their pain. And then after a week or two, their pain's gone. These are good for 2 or 3 days. They leave them on, shower with them, bathe with them, leave them on. And when the pain starts coming back, replace them. And they can go feel better, start to cycle their wellness up. Okay, get off the couch and start moving, and everything starts to bring them up. So pain is one of those things that bring us down, and products like BodyAlign that we can remove that. Okay, move that pain starts to cycle people up and move their energies up and make them feel a heck of a lot better.
Yeah, that's great. So yeah, Ava put my link in the chat.
That's real teamwork right there.
Yep. We're always in each other's chats, and we're kind of like each other's hype men. But yeah, so that's
I've enjoyed tonight. I want to thank you. You're very blessed. You have a beautiful child there, and congratulations. We have a wonderful event coming up on December 25th, and Merry Christmas. And I look forward to doing this again with you. Let's talk frequencies and pineal glands and getting our bodies and our minds to the next level, right? We're in the 4D view of the world, how to get to 5D, not 5G, but how to move and speak in frequencies and speak in ways that we don't constrain ourselves to just what our ears can hear, our eyes can see, or our senses can pick up on. We can now connect it inside of us into the pineal glands so that we have a way of communicating or experiencing things that are outside of our 4D.
Yep. We could do that on the next one. This was a good foundation.
There you
go. Foundation laid.
Well, you make it a blessed day. Congratulations, my friend.
Thank you for being on. Thank you for coming on with me.
Have a good night.
Bye, guys.